Hello. Boy, it's been a while since I've been live, and sorry, the technology is not really agreeing with me this morning. Um, so, wow, it took me a minute to, I don't know, Facebook wouldn't let me type, and I don't know what Instagram is doing, but I am finally here live, a little bit later than I had planned to be, but that's okay. Anybody who is going to join me will still join me. I am here to talk about Reiki. Um, so I have, hi Lincoln. I'm still a little bit scattered from all the technological mumbo jumbo that I had to leap through to get on here. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about myself because not all of you know me. So I'm Janet, and I am a Reiki master teacher, energy healer, mentor, intuitive. I go by many titles. I have been practicing Reiki for, I don't know, I'm going to say 9 or 10 years. I'd have to actually do math to figure it out. And I have been a master teacher for, I want to say 8 years. So you'll notice the terminology that I will use may differ from what the terminology is if you have learned Reiki already or if you've heard people talk about Reiki. So Reiki is an oral tradition. It gets passed down from person to person, from teacher to student, and it's been taught this way for, I don't know, 100 years or so. So depending on your Reiki lineage, as in who you learned Reiki from, that will determine how you learn Reiki, what exactly you learn. There are different strains of Reiki, so that will alter things as well, and also the terminology. So the way that I learned Reiki, the top level is called master teacher. Together, we are a master and therefore able to teach. Other lineages, other places separate the two. So there's a level for master and there's a level for teacher, and those are two separate things. So anyways, I have learned Reiki to the highest degree. And I did that about 8 years ago, and I've been practicing Reiki ever since. And I love teaching it. I love doing it. Reiki has changed me and so much of my life. And it's an amazing tool for self-healing and for just sort of general life improvement and philosophy, if nothing else. Even if you don't ever use Reiki as a healing tool, then you can just use it to enhance your life philosophy, we'll say. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. I'm like going off on so many tangents and talking about things that I plan to talk about a little bit later. If you're joining me live, oh, hi, Ken. And if you would like to ask a question, please do. You're more than welcome. This is a live Q&A, and it is designed for you guys to ask me questions. So if I say something that's unclear or reminds you of something that you want to ask me, then please go ahead and do that. But I'm going to start by just the very basics. What is Reiki? Reiki is a Japanese word, technically 2 words that we stick together. Rei means universal energy, and ki, which is the same word as chi, which is the same as prana, and it means sort of internal energy, so your life force energy. So different cultures and different ways of talking about energy will use different words to do that. So The Japanese word is ki, so we call it Reiki. So Reiki is uh, a way of connecting our personal energy to the universal energy. That's all. It's pretty simple. And we, as the people, we are the connectors. So when you learn Reiki, you learn how to connect to the universal energy to be able to use it and guide it for your benefit and or the benefit of other people if you choose to work on other people. It's really very simple. There's nothing more to it than that. There's nothing that you have to believe. There's no indoctrination. There's no anything else to it. That's it. And we know that universal energy exists because, well, we exist. You know, the wind blows and trees grow and the sun shines, and all of that is a result of universal energy. So all we're doing is taking that sort of intangible energy that makes the world and the universe the way that it is, and we connect to it, and we sort of suck it up and use it for our own benefit, because we are universal beings. So it's only natural that if we are better able to connect to the universal source, that we will be healthier, happier, more functional, productive beings, and exist, not just exist, but do better and feel better. So that's sort of the premise of Reiki, and why it's an awesome thing. So yeah, it helps. So obviously, if we're using universal energy, it is, like I said, to enhance our lives, and it does that on all levels. So physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. It enhances our entire being, all at the same time. We don't even have to choose. We don't have to have a purpose. Once we are connected to the universal energy, it just knows where we need help, which makes it a really sort of easy energy healing method to learn, and a really easy thing to do, because you don't have to know a whole lot in order to be able to use and reap the benefits of Reiki. It's really, really amazing for beginners. And you don't need to be an intuitive. You don't need to be an empath. You don't need to know how to do anything. Reiki, and the way that it is designed, the way that we teach it, and the way that you learn it, is meant for people who are just starting out, and who don't already, you know, have a mastery of all things energetic. So it's a really super awesome way to start your journey if you are interested in yeah, in energetics and in learning how to feel better by yourself. So hello, Suzanne on Instagram. Oh, question from Facebook. Can Reiki be done badly or wrong? No, it can't. The way the universe, there is nothing bad or wrong about the universe or universal energy. Therefore, there is no way for us to mess that up, basically. And I can't even imagine. So when you're taught Reiki, you are taught to only use it for its highest and best good and practice, and that's how it's designed. So I can't imagine that somebody who has ulterior evil motives would go to the bother of learning Reiki to try to mess somebody up. Like that just doesn't make sense. And I don't even think that even if somebody had the intention to use it for evil purposes, that it could be, because the universe is inherently good. I don't think we as human beings have the power to shift that in any way and to, override the inherent goodness of the universal energy. So that's my question, or that's your question answered. I hope that answers it. I need to find a tissue. I will be right back in 1 second. The joys of live video. You never know what's going to come up. Hi, Selma. Selma on Facebook is asking, can anyone learn and do Reiki? Absolutely. Anybody and everybody can learn to do Reiki. I'm not sure, you might have missed, I just was talking about that, and I said that the way that we teach Reiki is actually designed for people who have zero experience working with energy, who have zero experience using their intuition. So we start with the very, very basics, and you don't need to know anything before you learn Reiki. And anybody and everybody can do it because we are universal beings. We are all able to connect to universal energy. There's no like special anything that we need to have other than the desire to do it, and the intention to use Reiki for its highest good. So anybody and everybody can do it, and anybody and everybody can learn it. It's super, super easy. So yeah, it's the perfect. So I've learned like over a dozen different methods of energy healing, and Reiki, I think by far is the simplest one to start with, because for that very reason, you don't need to already know things. You don't need to be able to feel or sense energy in order to use it. You can start without it, and then of course that comes the more you practice. Then it gets easier, of course, the more you practice, as things do. But yeah, you don't need to know anything to be able to start. Awesome. Thumbs up from Selma. Good. Just looking over here, I've jotted down a few of the sort of frequently asked questions about Reiki. So at the beginning I was talking about how I'm a Reiki master teacher. So there's different levels of Reiki, for generally speaking. So there's level 1, and like I said, depending on your lineage and who you learned Reiki from, they may be called different things. Generally, it's Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and then master teacher level. So a little bit of Reiki history. So Reiki was founded in Japan by a man named Mikao Usui. And then eventually, I'm skipping over a whole bunch of the story here, but it was brought to the West by a woman in Hawaii named Hawayo Takata. And Mrs. Takata sort of changed the way, the Japanese way of doing things to a more sort of Western way of doing things, so that Western people could wrap their heads around this sort of mystical, traditional Japanese things. So she created levels. So when she originally taught Reiki, there were just 3 levels. There was Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and then master teacher level. In the meantime, there's a pretty big jump between level 2 and master teacher. So in the meantime, a lot of teachers have added in a level 3. And this is where you often get the terminology. So now you may hear level 1, level 2, level 3, and master teacher, which is how I did things. But you may also hear level 1, level 2, Reiki master, which is the 3rd level, and then Reiki teacher is the 4th level. So it's just different ways of sort of saying the same thing. So there's 3 or 4 levels of Reiki depending on who you learn it from and how you learn it. But generally, we all start at Reiki level 1, which is the introductory level, which is what you learn really what Reiki is and how you can use it. And by the time you leave the class, you are able to use Reiki, and then you get to go home and practice it. Reiki 2, so you're diving deeper into the Reiki. You're learning more about sort of sensing energy and being able to feel it. You learn Reiki symbols, which help to direct the energy better and to sort of enhance different qualities of the energy. So we start getting a little more fine-tuned in Reiki 2. Reiki 3 is more, because it's sort of a non-sanctioned level, it varies quite a bit. But generally, that's an even deeper dive into the Reiki energy and using it and sensing it, and more practices and methods and techniques, a couple more symbols. And then Master Teacher is like for those who are fully committed, who really want to be able to use Reiki to the sort of utmost degree to continue their learning, to help other people. If you want to be a Reiki professional, if you want to do this sort of as a business and make money doing it, then you should definitely do the Master Teacher level. And then you can also obviously teach other people and spread the joy and the love that is Reiki. And that's a much bigger commitment. So the way I teach, level 1 is like 4 hours. Level 2 is 4 to 6 hours. Depends how many people are in the class. And then it sort of grows from there. Level 3, it's been so long since I taught a level 3 class, I don't even remember, but I'm gonna say it's also around 6 hours. And the Master Teacher is like 12 hours. Like it's a big commitment. There's a lot involved there. But all you need to do is start with level 1 and go from there. Lots of people learn level 1 and they're content and they stay there and they don't ever feel a need to learn more than that. Other people like me, I learned level 1. I was like immediately like, I need to learn everything there is to know about Reiki. And so I did. And so I took all the levels, obviously. So those are the levels. And you'll learn more about that if you take a Reiki class. They'll explain that more, and how your Reiki teacher structures things and teaches things. Because there, like I said, there's a little bit of variation because it gets passed down from person to person. Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything more that I can say. Why should people learn Reiki? I talked about that a little bit at the beginning, was basically just to enhance your life. But like concretely, if you have pain, if you have like a chronic illness, it helps a lot with things like cancer. I've worked with a lot of clients who had cancer, and it helped them feel better and get through the chemo and heal. And just, there's so much stress when you're fighting a disease like that. So whether it's cancer or something else, you know, any other chronic illness, it really helps with the stress, with the depression, with the anxiety, with all of those things. And whether you have a chronic illness or not, Reiki is amazing for helping with any sort of physical ailment, to stress and anxiety and depression and sort of mood disorder type things. It's really good for just relaxing. Like, I fall asleep whenever anybody gives me Reiki, and a lot of my clients do as well. It's just super relaxing, and it just like takes away all of the gross stuff that you walk into the session with. It just sort of removes it. And Reiki 1 is amazing because you can do Reiki. Once you have Reiki, you can do it on yourself. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say about levels. So the more you learn Reiki, the more powerful the Reiki is that you give to others. So it sort of increases exponentially. So like level 1 is, you know, your base level of doing Reiki. Level 2 is like twice as powerful as level 1. Level 3 is like 4 times as powerful, and then master teacher is like 12 times as powerful. However, like it's exponential. Math is not my strong suit, but it's not just like each level is like 1 step higher. It's like each level is like gets a lot higher than the last one. So the more Reiki you learn, the more powerful it is for yourself or for others. Lincoln asked on Facebook, is level 1 enough for self-care? And what are the benefits of learning more? And I kind of just intuitively answered those questions, I think. So yes, level 1 is designed for self-care. It's not, you can work on other people with level 1 if you want to, but it's sort of designed for doing it on yourself. Once you get to level 2, then you can start working on other people. You learn how to do Reiki at a distance because energy transcends time and space, so we don't have to be with the people that we are giving Reiki to. They can be somewhere else. So that's level 2, and then yeah, level 3 and master teacher, obviously. You do the same things, just bigger and better. So what that also means, because the Reiki is sort of more powerful, it means that it's faster and easier. So you can do more in less time. So where like, if you do a full session, like a full body Reiki treatment, at level 1, it will take you like around an hour to do it. By master teacher level, you can do it in much less time, just because everything is bigger and better. So yeah, so level 1 is all you need. Anything more than that is a bonus, basically. Yeah, and there's more. Reiki, not only it's about like being able to work on yourself for self-care, but there's a lot that goes with learning Reiki, sort of philosophically, that sort of changes the way that you think about life and how you live your life. And so there's a bit of philosophy that goes along with Reiki, in addition to being able to use it universally. So we talk about, there are Reiki principles that Mr. Usui developed when he was developing Reiki for reasons, and you learn all about those in Reiki 1. I don't really need to go into them now, but it's also recommended that when you learn Reiki, you actually do self-practice for 21 days in a row, not only because that creates the habit, etc., but it's really interesting to work with the Reiki like every day, and just see the changes that happen to yourself when you become more aligned and more in tune with the universal energy. It's pretty awesome. So if nobody has any more questions, I think that's probably all of the big ones, all the sort of frequently asked questions. So I am teaching a Reiki 1 class next week. Today is the last day to sign up for early bird pricing. So you save $25 if you sign up by the end of the today. The class is next Sunday, the 17th, here in London, Ontario, from 1 to 5 p.m. If you can make it, I would love to see you. If you would like to register, you just have to message me on Instagram, on Facebook, send me an email, and we'll connect and go from there. So thank you to everyone who joined me today. I love talking about Reiki. You maybe could tell, and it was really hard to sort of rein myself in and keep this somewhat focused. So yeah, if you missed this live and you have questions, feel free to comment and or message me, email me, and ask me any questions that maybe came up as you were watching the replay. That's all. Thank you for tuning in, and have a super awesome weekend. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.